That's great.
We good?
Yep.
All right.
We're recording on
Yep.
audio.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get that. Yeah, we got all the video and live performance and everything, and we forgot to press record. Damn. Okay. Now, each week on Summer Breakfast, in an effort to spare you from my musical tastes, we'll be talking to different musicians about their own music, but while they're here, we'll also be getting them to pick their album of the year, and we'll be adopting that album and playing tracks from it during the week. Today, we're talking to US singer-songwriter Shawn Mullins. You probably know him best from his Grammy Award-winning song Lullaby. That was back in 1999, and since then, he's been busy making lots of music, including his newly released album, Light You Up. Shawn is here in the studio with us. Shawn, welcome to Radio National Summer Breakfast.
Thanks for having me.
It's a great pleasure. Now, I was looking at some of the gigs you've played over the years, and the one that really struck out to me was the inauguration of President Obama. That seems like a pretty good gig to get.
Oh, it was a total honor. Yeah, it was really wonderful. It was a huge weekend. You know, that whole deal was just a big celebration and so many people coming together, you know, and that whole thing. But yeah, I was part of that. It was really a fun thing. I played a party for the Clintons, and I got to meet Bill Clinton, and he said he should have brought his saxophone.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of glad he didn't.
Fair enough too, fair enough. In terms of, is there a gig in your career that stands out as the all-time best, and what is it that makes the best gig?
Oh, I don't know. I have a lot of really good gigs. I enjoy the connection with the audience. You know, I play a lot of smaller venues, a lot of intimate settings, and to me, it's all about that, you know, reciprocation of energy that happens in the room, and it's harder for me to do that in a large venue. So I really enjoy the smaller places. You know, like the basement here in Sydney.
Yeah, right. Great.
One
of the things that struck me about your background is a bit of time that you spent in the US military, which doesn't strike me as necessarily a natural fit. What is the US military policy on musicians? Is it don't ask, don't tell, or how does it work?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, you know, I went to college with a bit of an Army scholarship, so I had to pay back some time when I got out of school, and I did major in music in school. So, I spent a little bit of time in the airborne. I jumped out of a few airplanes, and, you know, it wasn't anything I wanted to do for my whole career. I always had music in mind, but it was fun. I made some lifelong friends in the military.
So you did enjoy it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And what do you reckon did it do anything for your music, or were they totally separate tracks?
I would say that the one thing that it probably did was kind of give me discipline, you know, like the discipline it takes to you know, keep going no matter what. And that was a similar thing that music, you know, being in the music business, you have to learn how to listen to the word no over and over again and keep going, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I suppose on top of the ease on stage is the product of years and years of training and discipline. So I suppose that makes sense, yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about your new album. In particular, one of the things that you've said is that you kind of got a new collaborative style with this album. Can you tell us a little bit about how that collaborative style came about and what you like about it?
Yeah, well, I did a lot of co-writing for this record, and you know, in the past, I've written a lot of the songs by myself. What started the co-writing was a project that I did a few years ago called The Thorns, and we were here with The Thorns, and that was the first time I'd really done a lot of writing with other writers. And
was it difficult to adjust after so many years of going solo?
Not really. I've really always kind of taken to it. I've enjoyed it. I like the process of sharing that creative space with someone else, if it's the right person, you know. And this record was like that, you know. It was writing with some of the greatest songwriters on the planet, you know, people like Chuck Cannon, and written many hits, but also is just a wonderful lyricist. And and we were dear friends, and it's always great to hang out with someone and be able to write a song too, you know.
And did you find as collaborators that you would work with the music first or the lyrics, or was it a kind of, depend on track to track?
Well, you know, ideally it all comes together at once, and that's the best way that it can happen. But a lot of times I found that working on the lyric first, for me, is the way to go, because the music tends to come more naturally. And if I tend to get that out of the way, then I only have a certain amount of thing I can stuff lyrics into. So I try to work on lyrics first if they're not coming at the same time.
Interesting. As well as your own music, obviously. What kind of music do you listen to? Are you a genre person, or do you spread the musical net wide? Oh,
yeah, man, I love all good music, you know. I mean, I grew up on everything from big band to punk rock, you know, and everything in between. So I love it all, and you know, I think there's some great records out this year.
Yeah, well, this year, what's caught your eye?
Well, the Band of Horses is actually really good. I was thinking Band of Joy, the Robert Plant record, but
Yep.
I think my favorite is the Cyndi Lauper record. And it's such a different record. It's people wouldn't expect a blues record coming from
Cyndi Lauper. Yeah, no, exactly.
It's wonderful.
Girls just want to have the blues.
Yeah, that's right. It's a wonderful record. She went to Memphis and they found all these old cats that played on all these old great blues and R&B records and they recorded it properly like the old way, and on tape and old mics and so I that's one of my favorite projects. I think it's just a really cool thing. You wouldn't expect someone like Cyndi Lauper to do the blues, and she nails it.
The album is Memphis Blues, and we'll have a listen to one of the tracks from Memphis Blues now. It's Early in the Morning.